Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I got a message for all human beings on the face of the earth. Wherever you are, whatever language you speak, you have heard that once the Spirit spoke in such a way that every individual, regardless of their language, were able to interpret what was being said. And I'm saying this to you today, ladies and gentlemen, all over the world. So what I'm saying, you should be able, my friends, to interpret. And I want you to know this. God wants you to know that this earth was made for many things. And one of those things were that human beings could live on this earth as if they are in heaven. That means that you are satisfied in this life. Anything that you are missing, you want, need, or desire, you got the wherewithal to call the manifestation thereof. And it is absolutely wonderful because it gives you purpose in living. It doesn't matter about what race you might call yourself, what colors you are one people, human beings made by the power of love. And that every last one of you require basically the same sustenance for survival. You do have your independence. And it is designed in such a way that even though you are different in those regards, what you do causes a manifestation of that which you require to be manifest. So what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't experience that, but that is the way it was designed. And we are here. We are here for one purpose, to do that, to live like that. But we have choice. We don't have to live like that. We can live any other way. But any other way will never cause to happen that which you have been designed to experience by a different program. And so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to know that it is required that people represent themselves. If you want to live like heaven on earth, you got to care. You got to have compassion. You got to know that everybody else is basically just like you. And what would satisfy you, what you need, want, or desire, basically it's the same thing that they need, want, and desire. And though they might be different, they need, want, and desire it. And God has made it possible for that to happen. Not only that, God has made it possible so that when we live on this earth, we will live in peace and be prosperous and free and joyous and happy. And we'd live our dreams. Yes, my friends, that means we would suffer for nothing. We would suffer for nothing when it comes down to our purpose for being here, because we would have careers that would allow us to engage ourselves in the process of creation. And the stuff that we enjoy, the stuff that is of the heavenliness, is the stuff that we have taken what God has given us, used our gifts, and caused the manifestation thereof to produce our heaven on earth. Yes, my friends. Education, healthcare, transportation, infrastructure, anything made by the hands of man, designed that you, the human beings all over the earth, would enjoy. You human beings all over the earth, Africans, Chinese, white, black, short, tall, fat, all of us all over earth could enjoy God's magnificent earth. Yes, my friends. Yes. But what? Any of those other choices that might be made would produce decisions that I'm sure you would not like to experience. Deception, crime and violence, lying, cheating, and stealing, killing, hating, racism, bigotry. Some got, some don't. Terror and war. And it doesn't matter whether any other, nothing had nothing to do with nationality, has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with color, has nothing to do with anything, except it's not the plan that's designed to create heaven. And it and every last one of them will fail. It doesn't matter if it's American, Russia, China, black, white, women, punks. It doesn't matter. It will have the same end. There's only one way, and that way is love. That way is love. Now, some people will say, I think I woke up. I wanted you to, these are facts what I've just shared with you. Okay? Now I want to share something else with you. The others of you can cut the set if you want to. But I was thinking this morning, I thought about several things. One is that Trump should be running because everything that God has designed, basically, as I have just described before you, he represents the opposite, the other. If you didn't understand what I said earlier, now you can see he represents the opposite. Fighting every day, arguing every day, talking about people every day. That's the evil part. Now you should laugh at that. But you got to have a plan. And that plan must be to change. I was thinking about how the Supreme Court is set up. 5-9, you are sure somebody wins that way. You also sure somebody loses. Isn't that something? Somebody wins, somebody loses. It took one extra vote that determined whether it's going to be a winner for some and losers for others, or the reverse. Hell designed and being followed through. Well, this morning my studio was outside of Woodbury High School. These are the guys that's responsible for obviously taking care of the property. And just so happens that they're doing it now while I'm doing this now. But anyway, they're both necessary. And I'm thinking about the Supreme Court again. Check this out. Black people, white people, you kind of respect your others, your kind, a little bit more than you do others. You might not want to acknowledge it, but it's true. When Miss Jackson was coming on the court, Supreme Court, we listened to what they were telling us about her, and we liked it. She seemed to have been someone we could trust. At least if you're thinking and your ideas about life is similar to mine on this choice and not some other wild choice. And then you think about since she's been there, and there's some others there that what I'm saying, there are people there that represent truth, and there are those that represent the what they call it, alternative truth. I mean, that's just the fact. And everybody got there who they think they are. But that in itself represents a loser. That's a losing way of life. Now, the whole purpose, ladies and gentlemen, since we're here, is for those who want to live that one way that produces heaven. You got to do it. You got to do it on this earth. You got to do it on this earth and accept whatever comes from it. You cannot play. Just like all this evil exists, it exists because they weren't playing. Evil exists because they're not playing, they're doing it. Taking away your love, robbing you of your joy. They are doing it every day. Look at the people crying. Look at the homelessness. Look at the pain and suffering that people go through every day. They are doing it. But what are you doing if you're standing up for love? What are you doing if you're standing up for love? You cannot say, well, I can work through this. I can overcome. Let's just hang around. This stuff will pass. You know, like people saying, watch Trump. It'll pass. And that nothing is passing. It's being installed in stone. So if you are representing a different way of life, it's not doing it today or in this situation because this is not so bad. Nah, this is so bad. So I'll give in and God will accept. You is a damn lie. God does not accept that because love says it is not made of that stuff. Love is made of overcoming. You know, and see when you overcoming, you're not there yet. But when you get there, you're there. No, you're not standing for that. You're not standing for it. Like, give me another example. There were people, let me see if I can use two scenarios. They were being herded over here in Africa, from Africa and other places, I imagine, on ships to become here to be slaves or whatever. They might not have known what it was going to be. Maybe they did. But they say before they would do that, they'll feed the fish. And they jumped overboard to feed the fish. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. There were natives who said before they yield this land to people who aligned to them and doing what they were doing, they will fight them to the hell. And they gave up their lives. That's what I'm talking about. But those who said, well, and who, I mean, you can't help it. If you were just scared and weak and didn't had not matured to that level, you said okay, and you came on over this ship and became slaves, and they did to black folks what they did. Or you were like the natives, the ones that who were real, passed on, and the others say, well, we'll survive, and they just came on over here just to survive, and you've been going through pew hell ever since. That's was your choice. You chose to go through the hell that you're going through. Now, you were weak, you didn't understand. You just didn't understand. Black people, you went through this, and you didn't know. You just chose, and we still going on. It ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. I don't care about these lies people telling. It's nothing but a part of a game. You got to stand up for what's right. And you will live for what's right or you will die. And there will be no shame in your game because you did nothing to hurt anybody. The act that you made was made in the stance that anybody else could experience at least the same measure of life and joy as you, because you would do nothing to prevent it. I'm telling you, they can't talk about that. And ladies and gentlemen of the world, before that truck gets back around here, I want you to know you better play this again, because I know you didn't get it, but you're not going to get anything any better. Not from any politician, not from any preacher. And if the Pope is real, he's going to say the same thing. Eh, well, I tried to get through before we came through, but I had to say that. If the Pope is real, he'll say the same thing. Because there's no other language that love speaks. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now. God is wonderful.